Today we have someone whose story feels like a masterclass in scaling.
Even if you don't have plans of selling, you want to grow and scale your business as if you're going to sell.
The stream beats the rock. Like, you have to keep showing up, and you were $4 million in debt, 5 years ago, and now, you exit for over $100 million.
I want to help people. That's why I built out this platform, and I'm literally spending almost $1 million a year on my team right now. You are who you surround yourself with. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
When you're like, hey, we want to build a franchise company, like, how did you start doing that? Welcome to another episode of Built to Scale, the show where we break down the real blueprint behind the world's most successful entrepreneurs, the slow grind, the breakthroughs, the failures, and everything in between. Today we have someone whose story feels like a masterclass in scaling. Cameron Bawden, founder of the 1% Club and Hype Farm, and the man behind multiple exits, including Green Mango Pest Control, Coconut, Agave Auto Glass, totaling over $100 million. We're diving deep, not surface level inspiration, but step-by-step insight into how he actually built, scaled, hired, fired, systematized, and ultimately sold companies. Grab a notebook. This episode is a roadmap. Welcome, Cameron. How you doing?
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me on.
I'm super excited to have you on, man. I was telling you right before we started, I've been following your story for a couple of years now and seeing some of the companies you built and exited. Actually, on the reel that we have on the back of our website for our roofing company was inspired by the reel you have on the back of the Green Mango website. So
good, man.
Yeah, I love the branding and everything you built. It's really inspiring to see kind of like how you have a really simplistic design to all your companies, like very I don't know, like just reminds me of like Apple with like the Apple logo, just like very clean.
Thank you,
and
man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So talk to us, like, for people listening who haven't really heard about you before or what you did. Like, how did your story start, man? Like, did you grow up with a family and business of entrepreneurs, or did you kind of figure it out, and then how did that lead to whatever your first business was?
Yeah, so taken back, I look back and I've spent a lot of time reflecting, especially this past year. I had my big exit, October of 2024. So, it's been over a year now, and I've looked back on, okay, like what kind of led me down this path? Because especially as I've started to, consult other companies, I'm trying to reflect, like, what exactly was it? And I think it was just a combination of many things. But growing up, to answer your question, I did have entrepreneurs in my life. School was never like a big thing for me. I never learned how to be a great student. And so I just kind of got by. But I saw people that had success. I saw people that had the cars, that had the helicopters, the jets, the razors, the sand rails, and I think like every little boy, like they want that too. And I think the thing that I had really going for myself is that I was extremely street smart, and so I'm a great student. And what that means is I'm a student of showing and copying what people do. But I'm not a great student on the textbooks or reading and in a classroom setting. And the thing is that, especially, I was going to school between 2000, I graduated 2007. Everyone kind of put this facade out there that in order to be successful, you had to be a great student. You had to go to college, you had to get an education, you had to do all these things. And so in the back of my mind, there was always this self-doubt about, oh man, like I'm not good enough, I'll never be successful. But as I just continued to understand and learn how to work and just want, like just dream that, hey, I want these things, I naturally became this leader. And so a couple of things that stand out to me is, one, like I'll always remember, the struggle that my parents had at the beginning. My parents, my dad didn't start to really make money until I was a sophomore in high school. But up until then, like there was times where I wanted things that we just couldn't afford. And I don't want to say like, oh, we grew up poor, because we didn't, but it wasn't like this extravagant lifestyle. And I think that had an effect on me by seeing like, man, I really want this. But then my dad started to make money, and he started to buy helicopters and motorhomes, and we started to go to the dunes and all these things. It was like, man, how can he do this? And so he was doing real estate, and he would show investors real estate with a helicopter. And that intrigued me. And so when I was in high school, I went and got all my aviation licenses. I got my single engine, my multi-engine, my instrument, and helicopter by the time I was 18. I went to real estate school. And then when I was 19, I went on a church mission. And what that looks like is you go out and you serve for 2 years and you forget about everything else. And I went and did that. I served in Canada, Edmonton. And when I got home, I looked at my dad and I said, hey, I'm ready to get into real estate. Like, I'm ready to go. And the market was trash. 2009, if you didn't have money, it was a bad time to get into real estate. And my dad basically said, like, hey, like, my run is done. I'm retired now. You got to figure it out. And a lot of people who serve a mission get recruited to go knock doors for either alarms or solar or pest control or whatever it might be. And so I got recruited by a good buddy. And to kind of fast forward, the guy that actually recruited me, Dusty Williams, was the one that actually got me into pest control. And he taught me about the power of residual income and, what could be if we built this empire. And so we started with one truck, we started knocking doors and built it eventually into, one of the largest companies in Arizona. And it was just kind of this amazing journey in between, and we can go down whatever path you want. But about 8 years in, we started 5 other service companies. And, I always tell people that was probably the greatest decision I made from an educational standpoint, but the worst decision I made from a financial standpoint, just because, you get sidetracked. And when you don't have the right players in your organization to run it, your organization suffers. And a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs get the shiny object syndrome, and they think, oh, I have this cool company that's doing $2 or $3 million. I'm going to go start this other one because everyone always asks me. And then that $3 million company turns into 1.5, and now they got 2 like mediocre companies. That was me. Luckily, Green Mango stayed strong, and we were able to, like, eventually it came full circle. I exited almost all those companies, doubled down on Green Mango again, and grew it to what it was. And then, COVID hit and all that. And, we finally decided to, hey, it turned out from like, we'll never sell this company to like, this company's for sale, because we started to hear what these multiples are going for.
Still coming up.
We created this value add to where it's almost a no-brainer, and we come up with a custom plan to where like they just feel like everything on my home's getting touched.
SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high-quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with 0 down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford.
When you say the like multiples, you're obviously talking about like selling the company to private equity of like times your EBITDA, right? So yep. What are the multiples that are possible that you found out about?
So to give you an idea, when we first started in 2010, if you were getting like a 9 to 12 times your EBITDA margins, you were doing really good. Like, that was a great, solid business. Then when COVID hit, people were getting 15, anything north of 15 multiple was crazy. So when you're doing $6 million and you're getting, a 12 multiple, it's like, okay, that's good money. But when you get offered like a 17, 18, 19, 20 times multiple, you're like, all right, everything's for sale. It's life changing, right? And so that's kind of what it turned out to, because I thought this was going to be a legacy business, meaning like my little boy was going to run it one day. Mm-hmm. And it changes, man. So there's a lot of things I learned in that period. And again, I don't know what route you want to go down here, but one of the greatest things I did in 2020 is when I started to hear about all the multiples going high. 2021 was I started to interview these brokerage companies, and it was like, hey, we want to sell, and we started to get offers, and we weren't getting, what everyone else was getting, like the 17 and 18s. We were getting like 13s and 14s. And it was like, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting this high multiple? And the reason why is they would come in and they'd be like, hey, this is what's wrong and why you're not getting it. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. So I was able to go to school again. Like, I'm a great student of copying people. I understand what works. Hey, do this. How do I do it? I don't know. Go talk to a buddy, go meet this guy. And I understood how to do it. And that's why community is so important to me, is because everyone learns at a different pace. Some people love books, some people love podcasts, some people love mentorship in a community. And so with what we're doing, and what I did is, like, I just started asking questions. And so as I would meet with these brokers, and they would come in and, you know, say, hey, we would give you an 18 times multiple if this and that was in place. It was like, cool. I went and did that for 3 years straight. So I just went, got their advice, went and implemented, got their advice, went and implemented. And then eventually we got an offer. And honestly, like, in 2024, the beginning of 2024, someone came to me and they're like, hey, we want to buy Green Mango. And I said, hey, no offense, but I don't know if you think this thing's worth 2 million or 100 million, but I'm not going to sell for, I'm going to grow this to, I'm going to basically double it in the next 5 years. So it's not for sale right now. And they're like, no, we want to buy it. I said, well, here's my price. And I gave them the price and I gave them my terms. And because of a lot of things that I put into place the previous 3 years, they're like, dude, this business is amazing. We'll give you that multiple. And I was like, all right, let's go. So that's kind of the Runner's Digest version of what happened.
Can you say what multiple you ended up getting for Green Mango?
I can't right now. Yeah.
Do they make you sign like some kind of like NDA, or you can't really discuss or compete for X amount of time kind of thing?
Yeah, all the above. Yep. Yeah. So I can't compete in the markets that they're in. I can consult in market. I can't compete in pest control, but I can consult in markets that they aren't in. So a lot of 1% Club members are pest control people in other markets that Pestco's not in. And then, yeah, so, but there's non-competes because they're going out and they're acquiring multiple companies, right, to do this. And so, like, they don't want one company here that they got a 12 and this company got an 18 and this company got a 13. Like, it's all negotiations and every company's different. So
you mentioned kind of like early 2010, you're looking at 9-12%. And then, you know, towards the end, like, people were getting up to closer to 20%, 17 to 20, right? Like, what are the things that you had to implement into your company in order to try and ask for that higher multiple?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is that no one likes to, there's a saying, no one likes to buy a sinking ship. And so you got to have consistent growth. And that doesn't need to be 10, 20, 30%. I mean, most private equity firms are looking for 2-3% growth, right? It doesn't have to be crazy, but you can't be declining. And I always teach people, hey, you can have bad months, but you can't have bad quarters. A lot of small companies think that, or, you know, they don't think and plan ahead, and that's an issue. But the world revolves around 90-day cycles. And so when they look at your business, they're looking at trends. They're looking at, hey, what's going on with attrition? What's going on with sales and 90-day trends? And so when you're growing your business, and this is the best, some of the best advice I can give is, even if you don't have plans of selling, you want to grow and scale your business as if you're going to sell. And when you're operating on 90-day quarterly schedules, you're meeting with your team. And again, you can have a bad January, but you can't have a bad Q1. So whatever bad January, you better make it up in February and March. So you always hear some people say, like, oh, that deal saved the quarter. Because when people are looking at businesses, they're looking at quarters, okay, trailing 12 months. Obviously, months, if you have multiple bad months, that's an issue. But if you stay strong on the quarters, so that's one thing. The other thing is that they look at key man risk. And this is the biggest issue that I see with all companies, even, you know, under $10 million, is that they have key man risk. So meaning, hey, is Cameron the most important thing to this business? If Cameron goes on vacation, does it take a dive in operations? And that operations is sales, it's efficiency, it's all the things. Or is it stronger? They want a company that it does not have key man risk. They want a company that is scalable, right? So is there opportunity for growth? Is there efficiency gains there? How well are they running their books? And so if you have bad books, you know, you can get into the accounting side of things and the controller and all that. If you don't have clean books and you don't have clean numbers and you're kind of fumbling around, they will negotiate that multiple for you and they will beat you up on it because you're not certain. It's one of the biggest things that stood out to me with my broker when I went to sell. You know, they said, hey, we'll give you this multiple as long as, you know, these two things are accurate. One, your EBITDA margin is what it is. And two, your customer base is what it is, right? And so I was nervous the whole time. My CFO sitting there telling me, hey, you guys are at a 29% EBITDA margin. And it's like, okay, cool. I hope that's right, because my multiple is going to go down if that percentage is 25, 22, 23, And so like that's the difference between me selling and not selling. And after 6 months of going through these negotiations and these back and forth and these quality of earnings, you're exhausted and you're hundreds of thousands of dollars into lawyers. And by that time, they're saying, hey, we'll give you a 15 times, right? Let's say they're giving you 15 times. You're 6 months in. Oh, your EBITDA margin came down to 25%. We're going to give you a 13 instead. And most companies are like, whatever, man, let's just do the deal. And then they have regret. So you got to have everything in order.
So key man risk, right? They want to make sure if Cameron's there or Cameron's not, the company is going to is going to continue to perform. Like you need to have basically all your departments, your systems in place to make sure that whether you're there or somebody else comes in, the business still operates like a machine, in other words, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then as far as like building the first business, was Green Mango the first business that you started?
It is, yeah.
So how long were you guys in business before you actually exited?
14 years.
Okay. And then what were the other 5 companies that you started after that?
So we started Pineapple Pools, which is a pool service and maintenance company. And then we did Black Hat Security. Agave Security is like home automation, alarms, all that. Agave was windshield replacements. And then we did Coconut Cleaning, which is any surface in your home or couch, anything like that. We had Phoenix Power, which was a solar company. And we actually, because of all this, there was actually 6, but we didn't really push it too hard. It was a marketing agency because we obviously had these 5 companies and we had people for SEO and landing pages and websites and branding and all that stuff. And so for a little while, we opened it up and managed other people's stuff. But again, it was like, imagine having 6 huge companies at one time and we didn't understand how to hire A players and we didn't have systems and policies in place. And so we'd go into a department, we'd fix that department, come back 3 to 6 months later, and it'd be like the same issues happening. And, we just wanted to like pound our head against the wall, like what's happening here? And so you times that by 6 companies, it was insane.
What was your favorite out of all the companies?
Green Mango, man.
Is that because it was just the first one that you started and built, or,
No,
or why was that always your focus?
I loved alarms. Alarms was a great run. It pushed me. I was able to go and implement what I learned from Green Mango and exceed my numbers at a high level early on because of all my experience. And that's why I'm so passionate about mentorship and having someone in your corner that has done the thing that you're wanting to do. Like they can shave off years. A Coconut, we started franchising Coconut. These franchisees at Coconut are hitting numbers that it took us 3 to 4 years to hit in Arizona. And it's just because we give them the systems, we give them the processes, we give them the brand, we give them the ads. Like the chances of success increase tremendously when you have everything in place. Because that's the battle the first 3 years. You're trying to figure out how to do it. Then once you figure out how to do it, how do I put it into like a system and an operation that people follow? And then you got to go test ads. And and so you get all that in a franchise model, and that's what's so beautiful. So Coconut's awesome. I mean I love them all. All of them had like unique traits, but I mean Green Mango is my baby, man. It's what I dove into the most. And all the other companies we had operating partners, and so I was never really the guy day to day. Green Mango, like I was the guy. That was and is my company that I put everything into. It was the blood, sweat, the tears. It was everything, man.
You post a lot about Hype Farm. Is Hype Farm like the holding company that held all of these together, and then you had a bundle and you sold the whole bundle, or how did that work?
So that was the idea. Is that, hey, we'll create this empire of home services. So it was Hype Farm Premium Home Services. So yeah, Hype Farm owned all the other companies underneath it. And the idea was to grow each company separately. They didn't share LLCs. They didn't share CRMs or databases. We made them stand on their own before we introduced them into what we called the Hype Farm family. Because we didn't want to give a bad experience to the customer. Like, hey, just because we own Coconut doesn't mean Coconut's a great company. Like, we have to go prove it. Like, it has its own people, it has its own operating manager, has its own marketing tactics, like has their own technicians. Before we tell Green Mango customers to go use Coconut, we wanted to make sure like Coconut was amazing. So usually we wouldn't introduce them into the family for six to 12 months. But the idea was to grow them all together and then go sell it off. Well, the issue is that one of the I'm saying like, that sounded like a victim, mindset. It's not, but like one of the challenges is that we raised money through an investor, and about 8 months in, he pulled out, and I wasn't smart enough to pivot to be able to keep all those companies. And so we were forced to be like, hey, these ones are winners, these ones are losers, these ones are this, these ones are that. Let's keep these, let's keep that. And we basically like fire sold. We kept Green Mango, Agave, and Coconut, sold all the other ones, and then over time sold off Agave. I still have Coconut, and obviously sold Green Mango. So it was kind of like quite the journey there for a while.
So you're still involved with Coconut. Are you working on like another project as well right now on the side that you haven't like announced yet, or
like another business?
Yeah.
No, I'm done starting companies. So Coconut, I'm more of a mentor to my business partner there. It's his baby. I have, a substantial amount of equity in that, and I want to see it grow. And, we allocate a lot of time to it from like a mentorship standpoint and financially. But like that company, I strongly believe will do a $250 million in revenue in the next 3 to 5 years. And Arizona will do around $10 million in revenue this year. It's a great company. It'll be phenomenal. I think it'll be bigger than Green Mango. And so
quarter of a billion.
Yeah, it's the franchise model is special, and so anyone that's listening to this that maybe is frustrated with their business or looking to start a business, I highly recommend checking out coconutcleaningco.com. You can click on the franchise link that basically submits a form, and you'll get a call with my business partner. He can explain everything to you. But the chances of you having success as an entrepreneur just increase tremendously through the platform that we've built with Coconut, from the marketing to the systems to the branding to just everything that we have in place.
So Cameron, the franchise model is super interesting to me. My vision for Master Roofing is to create $1 billion in annual revenue, servicing 50,000 clients a year, being across the nation. How do you do that? Like, how do you start building the next location? How did you guys start the franchise? Like when it all started, when you're like, hey, we want to build a franchise company, like how did you start doing that?
Yeah, so it happened organically, honestly. So we had 4 all-stars that worked for us for a few years, and over time they were seeing like our success. They were seeing how much money that they were making, and they're like, hey, like, we're either going to be your competition or we want to partner with you. Sorry, one second. I'm a sneeze.
Bless you, man.
They're like, we're either going to be your competition or we want to be your partner, though. And at the time, this was coming like right off of me, like kind of getting dragged through the mud a lot with all these companies financially. And I was like, man, the last thing I want to do is personally guarantee another $100,000 vehicle and wonder if this is the right guy. Because, and this is how life is, man. It's like you can have all the systems, you can have all the processes. Like, so I'm boasting Coconut right now, right? It's like Coconut's amazing, has all these things in place. Well, if you as the operating partner don't put everything into it and sacrifice everything, it will not be successful. And so that's the X factor in business. I understand marketing. I have the money to go build a business. I understand the systems and processes. I understand customer, I understand the customer avatar of how to market to them and how they want their service and how they want to be communicated with and all the things. But if I don't have a partner that will literally put his life on the line, like the business won't be successful. And so with that said, with these guys, I was like, I think these guys are great guys, but I'm not wanting to go down this path with these guys. And so the only option in our mind at the time was, hey, let's do franchising. And so we went through and we just, again, I'm a huge fan of Ready, Fire, Aim. It's like, hey, I don't know how to do franchising. I've never done franchising before. What's the first step? Oh, you need an FDD. What's an FDD? Oh, who do I know that's done franchising? Let's go get a lawyer that specializes in franchise, paperwork. So found myself in a room with a lawyer explaining our business model. We spent $100,000 on the FDD. We now have the FDD. Cool. What's next? Let's start selling these things. All right. These guys want to buy them. How much do we sell them for? I don't know. Like, what do people do? Well, people normally charge this much per territory. And so you just start asking questions and you just start going. And so, we sold the 4 franchises and we paused because we're like, hey, let's see what happens here. I was smart enough at the time to be like, let's not go try and sell 20 of these and have 20 fires on our hands. Like, let's go sell 4 of them. Let's learn what we don't know. And what was cool is, like, we thought we had systems and policies in place. Well, when you have someone that's never been in your organization by a company, they're like, hey, how do you do this? How do you clean out the van? How do you, input a customer into the CRM? Cool, let's go create a system. So we spent the last 3 years, dialing in our systems and our policies around that. And now we're ready to unleash the beast, if you will. We get almost 90 inquiries a month through our social media alone. A lot of people have to hire these brokers to go sell their franchises. We do it organically through our social media. And it's just like, selling these things aren't going to be the issue. It's going to be choosing the right partner that is hungry and wants to do it, right?
How have you priced out like your territories?
So it depends on the size of the territory that they are wanting to acquire. But it's not much. Like, our goal isn't to be rich off the front end. Like, our goal is to make a royalty off for hopefully life, right? So it's between $20,000 to, let's call it, $90,000 for the franchise, which is a drop in the bucket for everything that you get, right? And then it's a scaling model for royalties as your revenue grows.
You were talking to me about Dusty in the beginning and how Dusty basically got you into pest control and showed you this stream of residual income, right? Talk to me about residual income. Like, when you say residual income, what do you mean by that, and how did you build that into your businesses?
Yeah, so residual income is something beautiful. It's something that you can count on every single month or quarter, however often your services are. But basically, it's an agreement between you and the customer that you're going to continually come out and service them or take care of them. So, for example, with pest control in Arizona, we come out bi-monthly. So every 60 days, we're contracted to come out and service that customer's home. They're our customer. Yeah, they signed a 1-year contract, but in the agreement, we state that we will just continue services until you let us know that, you're done. And most customers last 4.5 to 5 years, which was what our customer lifetime span was. And so, residual income is literally like, we know that every 2 months this customer's paying us $99 to come out and service their home. An example of not having residual income is the carpet cleaning model, right? When we first got into it, the carpet cleaning model is that we'll come out and we'll get you on a special for $29 for 3 rooms of carpet. We'll come out there, we'll upsell you to $450 to $500 or as much as we can, and we won't see you again for a year to year and a half. That was the carpet model. That's not okay with me, because it's hard to scale your business and hard to hire your executive team not knowing what's coming in the door next month. When you have that residual income, knowing, hey, we have 30,000 customers paying us $100 a month, we know that we can afford to hire these people to scale and grow because the money's almost guaranteed to come in, right? So with Coconut, to my knowledge, we're one of the only carpet cleaning companies that have integrated a residual income model into the business, which is what we call our Coconut Club. So we come out quarterly and service your home. So most companies are seeing a customer once every year and a half. We're seeing them 4 times a year. And a lot of companies have tried to duplicate it, but for whatever reason, they haven't been successful. We have. We know that we have residual income through our Coconut Club members that every 3 months we're going to service you, and we can count on that. And it just gives you that peace of mind of scaling. It helps you budget for the year. It helps you understand, what infrastructure you need from a truck standpoint, technician standpoint, and an office standpoint. And then of course, like, okay, hey, we're going to make 400,000 or we're going to make 4 million bucks or whatever it is. It could be 400 grand this year in residual income. Let's allocate 10% of that to marketing. So, hey, we can go sign the $40,000 contract with Google, with billboards, with radio, with influencers, with, whoever, because we know that's coming in and we can count on it, as opposed to like, the carpet model or like an HVAC model or garage door model where it's like just a one and done and you have to strategically plan, hey, yeah, they're bigger ticket items, but we need to allocate some of that money that we just got for future marketing growth.
For somebody listening who's like a roofer or a HVAC contractor, I like there's so many different models, right? I think in the trades. And for me, we created something called Master Roofing Care Club about a year ago, and that was to create some kind of subscription model in our business, because I see the biggest companies in the world, Netflix, right? YouTube, Google, like it's all they're all getting something from you every month, right? And so how would you integrate that like into a roofing company specifically, like a subscription model or a residual income where it really builds value for the customer?
I don't know. I'd have to think on that right now. Like there's some businesses that just are kind of a stretch, and it's like, dude, I mean, most roofs, how long do they last? 5 to 10 years, 5 years?
Warranties on roofs are usually like minimum 30 years to the manufacturer.
30 years.
So our model was like, we come out every 6 months, we're going to clean your gutters. We're going to seal all your pipes and vents, all the vulnerabilities, cause it cracks because of the hot sun. Right. But I feel like we could be adding so much more value to it, because it's for a customer. It's like, okay, how much do I want to spend for you guys to come out twice a year and clean my gutters and service my roof or clean my solar panels. Right. So
let me answer it this way. I don't know enough about roofing, and I mean, I'm sure we could come up with something, but it'd probably take 20 or 30 minutes of me first understanding the roofing, because you like the value has to be there. When you're stretching to like push the customer to prove to them that like you need to come out every 30 days and charge them $20 to like inspect a drain. It's like, unless they're having like drain issues on a consistent basis, it's a stretch, man. And so I think there might be something there. I'm not saying there's not, but to save us time on this podcast, I'll answer it this way. A lot of it comes down to education of truly what's happening. And so let's go back to carpet cleaning. Carpet cleaning, the average company sees the customer once every year and a half. Why is that? Because the education around the space is that, hey, if we come in for $500, like we touch all corners of the home. What's a value add that you could add to the customer? Well, when we think about the different areas of the house, there's typically 4 different areas that people want to focus on. And it's easier to break up that $500 into incremental like spends than it is to just be like, see you once every 5 years for $500 to $750. And so what we educated our customers on is, one, hygiene, the importance of getting your surface clean, which is the biggest filter in your home, clean once every quarter strictly from a hygiene standpoint. So we went down that road with the customer base, right? And we've split tested a bunch of different ways of presenting that, because you don't want to vomit at the mouth. You don't want to scare them. You just want to be educational, right? But then we also broke it into, hey, there's different sections of your house. And so one quarter can be the couches, right? You have your living room couch. You might have, your mattresses. You might have a playroom couch or something else like that. Like we can do your couches. The other time could be your floors. The other time we could do a different section of the house. Could be your bar stools. Could be your rugs. Could be, and so each home is different. There's different sizes of homes, but we break it down and saying, hey, we're going to create a custom plan for you. That's a quarterly planning. It's $99 a quarter, and our average upsell goes to $250. And so now they're thinking, wow, I can have this fresh, clean home once a quarter versus once a year, and it's a little for a little bit more. But then one of the things that we added in there is a kicker, and this is where it's like you make it a no-brainer. We created what we called like the free spot and spill treatment, right? So if you're a Coconut Club member on the subscription model of $99 a quarter, we're going to give you free spot and spill treatment. What that is that we've all had the kid or the dog or whoever, throw up on the carpet or pee on the carpet or whatever. And the next day you're like, this sucks. I got to get someone out here. And sometimes you call the carpet cleaners, and sometimes they come out right away, and sometimes they're 24 to 48 hours, and whatever. Like, we come out for free. We'll literally come out the next day for free and clean that up for you. And that's spot and spill and everything. And so, we created this value add to where it's almost a no-brainer, and we come up with a custom plan to where like they just feel like everything on my home's getting touched once, if not twice a year, and we're taken care of. And so it's, again, it hasn't been perfect, but we've tested so many different models over the past 8 years that we feel like we're in a really good place right now of knowing exactly what works and what doesn't and how to pitch it.
I know you have a community. You're doing stuff. I think 1% Club, like the hat you're wearing right now, right? How did you start getting into building a community? Is this more of a recent thing for you? And what are you doing with that community? And what's that impact for you and your goal?
So this has been kind of an interesting organic venture for me, which is why I think it's so special. When this hat, I wear it on these podcasts because when I sold my company, my wife threw a surprise party, and she only invited like really close people that had an impact on me the last 14 years. And I wear hats all the time. She knows I love hats. Well, there's this stat in business that less than 1% of companies make over $10 million of revenue and are actually profitable. And so you think about that. There's over 30 million companies, less than 1% are over 10 million. 98% are stuck at 3 million. And it's like, man. And so when it was a stat that I shared with my team at Green Mango when I sold on my exit speech of just saying like, we literally like beat all odds. We became the 1%. So fast forward to the party. At the party, my wife has these hats, the 1% Club. And that's cool. But for like 3 months after, I wouldn't wear this hat because it was a little braggadocious. It was like, man, I'm not going to wear a hat that I'm walking around being like, look at me, I'm the 1%, But in the meantime, people are reaching out to me like crazy, and they have been for the past couple of years, but I haven't had the bandwidth to help them out. I try my best, 10-minute call here, 15-minute call there. But when I sold, I started taking more and more of those calls, those 10, 15, like people would be like, hey, I got a question on this. Can you help me out? It's like, I want to help people out. Like a lot of people help me out. I want to be that for them. Well, I found myself taking these calls for 3-4 hours a day. And I was like, whoa, time out. Like I just sold my company. I'm not like, this is crazy. Like I want to help people, but this isn't a platform. And so it first started with me being like, hey, because I like to say yes to people, I'm going to hold a once a month Zoom call, and I'll just get on and I'll answer questions, right? So when someone reaches out during the month, hey, can I have 15 minutes next week? It'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't have the bandwidth, but what I am doing is a monthly Zoom call. I'll send you all the information, And so it started out with that. And the whole idea was like, man, if I can get 30 people on there at a time, like I'm happy, like it's worth my time to allocate that. Well, I skipped a step. One of the frustrating things when I would talk to people is like, we call them ask holes. They just want to get on the phone and just ask, and they're not going to do anything. And when people are doing that, and it's so freaking frustrating for me because it's like, dude, I know what my time is worth, and I know you're wasting my time right now because you're not going to actually go do what I'm telling you to do, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to start this Zoom call. I'm going to charge, I just threw it out there. I don't know where it came from. I'm like, I'm going to charge $2.99 a month. And that way, like, it's enough to where, like, those people that are just going to ask and not do anything, like, get weaned out. And, like, but it's not enough to where it's a no-brainer for people that actually care, right? And so, again, I was like, I'll get 30 people on here. I'll make, however much money. It'll be great. Well, I filled that up in, like, a couple weeks or months or something like it was there. And I was like, dang, this is crazy. Well, after 2 months on the call, I was like, man, these guys need so much more. What can I give them? And I started to dissect like all the different things, which is where I came up with my 9 value vortexes, what makes me successful. And because I'm writing a book right now, it'll come out in around January or February, and it basically goes through my story, but goes through 9 business principles that I believe every entrepreneur should embody in order to be successful. And so the 1% Club is going over, you talked about your course that you did with Brandon Dawson. It's absolutely phenomenal. You said you made your money back within the first month. My
Yeah.
goal for people is to embody these 9 characteristics within their business and become the 1%. I want to help as many people become the 1% as I can. And the platform it's a once a month Zoom call. I give a playbook on how to do these things in business that'll change your life, literally like change how you run your business and change the freedom that you have. And they're legit, dude. Like I've spent this entire year, woke up at 4 o'clock this morning working on a 9-week course that I'm going to release to the 1% Club. That literally, if you do, again, you have to go put in the work, you have to do the effort, but I'm giving you all the tools, man. And then the other thing is community. You are who you surround yourself with. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future is one of my favorite quotes, because literally who you surround yourself with becomes your belief system. If you're hanging out with a bunch of losers that are making 50 grand, 40 grand a year, not scaling your business, you're going to start to think that way and think that is your ceiling. You go hang out with the Brandon Dawsons, the Tommy Mellos, whoever that's actually obtained something special, you suddenly believe that you can go accomplish 100 million, $1 billion. And that's different. So within the 1% Club is the community of people who are all up to things that you're doing right now. They're in the trenches with you. There's some people that are doing the same revenue. There's some people that are doing 2 times the revenue. There's, and so it's like, that's what gets me excited. So the 1% Club is me sharing all the knowledge that I have once a month on a Zoom call through Playbooks, doing a quarterly event. And this year we're going to start launching some in-person trainings, like whiteboard session, breakout session type of things that will help people just execute on a higher level. And so it's fun, man. Like it's organically happened. And so where I spend my time is the 1% Club, consulting, coconut, personal investments, and my family. Like those are my 4 buckets where I spend my time. And I love life, man. It's great.
And I see you on Instagram, bro. It looks like you have a helicopter. You've built your businesses, you put in the work for 15 years, right? And now you're seeing like those fruits.
Yeah, no, yeah. Aviation's again, it was supposed to be a career path, and I kept up on it just for fun. And it's been an amazing tool to be able to recruit people, to further relationships, and just have fun. We do a lot of fun things with it.
How is that to sit there and be with your family and be able to fly them in your helicopter? Like, what does that feel like, bro?
Oh man, yeah, I mean, it's special. It's kind of sad now. They think of it as a car ride, now, but like I pinch myself every single time. I was able to buy my dream helicopter last year after the exit. And every time I fire that thing up, it's a turbine motor, and you just hear that thing spew up. And when you hear that fuel inject into it, and it's just like, man, I freaking love this thing, dude. So it's fun.
Be honest, does it like wear off like after a couple of days and you just feel like it's a car ride now, or is it because I know there's obviously you want to feel that gratitude of like, hey, I have this lifestyle, but at the same time, I mean, do things really bring you happiness?
Yeah, so one of the things that I encourage, and I go over it more in depth in the 1% Club, is weekly planning and daily routines. I'm huge on that. And because of that, I feel like I've been able to stay and I hope this stays, but I'm always in a constant state of gratitude. And part of that is because every morning I write down, 20 things that I'm grateful for, 20 who am I statements, and then I talk about my, I review my day, what's my area of focus. And I strongly believe, again, like mantras, in 2018, I was broken. 2020, I was $4 million in debt. And it's like, I had all the self-doubts, and I still have self-doubts. Like there's still things, no one's perfect, but the mantras and being grateful for things. And so, to answer your question, I fly almost 1 to 2 times a week, and I've been flying for, over 20 years now, and it hasn't gotten old yet. And it's the same thing with like sandrails. Like I have my dream sandrail, and every time I get in that thing and, hit 100 and however many miles an hour in a wheelie, it's like I'm just smiling ear to ear. And like we're going out to the racetrack today where we are racing cars with my little boy. And it's like, dude, I look around at our setup with the show hauler, the stacker, the multiple razors, and the race team behind us, and it's like, dude, this is like what life am I living right now? You know, like, and so the greatest thing I did, man, and here's the truth. It's like, I didn't know it at the time, but I literally put my head down and just worked like crazy in my 20s. Like I didn't really go on too many vacations. I didn't hang out on the weekends. Like I worked 6 days a week, and now I have more freedom than anyone that I know. And it's because I just like I put my head down. So look, if you're going to be a business owner, there's a reason why less than 1% are actually, you know, substantially profitable. Like it's going to take sacrifice. There's no cheat code to this. Like if you're like me and you're street smart, you're like, I'm going to figure out the cheat code. Like that's what we do, you know? Like there's no cheat code. You have to put in the work. And so if you're 3 years into a business, 4 years in, 8 years in, it's like, dude, you got to keep going, man. Like a lot of people don't hit that peak. I didn't start making money at Green Mango till year 6 or 7, 6 to 7. And it was just like, man, this is.
When you say you weren't making money, like at year 6, year 7, how much did you actually, how much was the bottom line on the business? Like how much, what was your net profit year 6, year 7?
I can't remember, but I know the first, like in year 6, I made 30 grand. Year 7, I made like 60. And then from there, it's like went straight up. But yeah, man, I mean, it was.
How old were you when you started working?
22.
And then how old are you now?
37, 36.
So you had to put in that time in order to get to where you are now. It's not going to have, for somebody listening who thinks it's just, hey, if I learn this skill and I put in the work and I build this, I can exit this in 2 years. And it doesn't work that way, right? It's like you have to put in the time and the effort, and it has to, you know, it takes time, and you have to learn, and it builds a team, and you're going to find those right mentors along the way. But it's about like the stream beats the rock. Like you have to keep showing up, and you were $4 million in debt, you know, 5 years ago, and now, you know, you exit for over $100 million. It's pretty amazing what time can do if you just keep showing up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not possible. I had a buddy build a 9-figure business in 4 years. It's the quickest I've ever heard. And so it's not like it's not possible, but it's just like.
But did he have experience before that?
Yeah, he worked in the industry for, I think it was 12 years before that. So that's the thing is like I hear 25, 26-year-olds that have been in business for 2-3 years. You know, maybe even you, for example, like I think you said you're what, 3-4 years in.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like don't get frustrated, you know, like keep going and just stay consistent. At the 1% Club, when you join, one of many things that you get is this, you know, band, but it's like intentional, discipline, and consistent. You have those 3 things as an entrepreneur, you're going to be successful. Get a mentor. I'm not rooting for me. Like I think I could help you out a lot, but it's like, there's so many mentors out there. Get someone that has actually built something to scale and learn the lessons from them. Like go to the course. You said that you made back your money right away with Brandon Dawson. It was $40,000. I'm sure that 40 grand was everything you had at the time. Like I'm sure that was a hard check to write, but you made it back, and look how strong you are now. Like go learn something else now. Like you need to join my community. I'm not hard closing you here, but it's like you're an idiot not to. It's $299 a month. Like if you learn one principle a year from that, that saves you $5 grand. It's paid for it.
You only charge $299 a month.
$299 a month, bro.
That's you know. And do you have like a commitment? Is there like a contract?
No, because I don't care. Like I don't.
So Cameron, I'm gonna obviously sign up today. Like that is a no-brainer.
Yeah. So,
you know?
But that's
because it's like you're getting access to a guy that still isn't like overwhelmed like a Grant Cardone or all these big guys, and a guy that can actually give you principles of what he just did and just exited. Like I try and look for guys like that in my market. Like there's a guy, Ishmael Valdez, he sold next gen AC out here. And so dude, when I found out about him, one of my buddies from Cardone was going down to his office like, oh, I'm here at next gen meeting with Ishmael. So dude, like I didn't know who he was, but then I found out, and then I'm like, well, I'm building business same market. He lives here. I found out where his Nuvei office was. I started bringing donuts to his office. I started like connecting with his assistants and stuff. And then I got the meeting, and then like he sat with me and he went over and like, but people don't think that way. They send a DM, the guy doesn't respond to them, and they're like, oh, he doesn't want to help people. And it's like, no, you're approaching it the wrong way. And when there's guys like you able to like offer that value at I mean, we pay for one lead over $300. Like, you know, like it's like if you're not going to spend that to learn something, He's not locking you into a contract. It's like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
that's
I mean, you
that's
just
that's a
dropped a
that's a crazy
bomb.
offer.
You just dropped a bomb, and I hope people didn't miss that. Is that successful people want to help other? I mean, if they're good guys, right? Like, and Ishmael is like, I like to think
Yeah.
I'm a good guy. If we don't respond, it's not because we don't care. It's because we're just got a million things to do. And
Yeah.
that's why I want to help people. That's why I've built out this platform. And I'm literally spending almost $1 million a year on my team right now to fulfill the 1% club so that I can see guys like you scale. Yeah, it's cheap. It's $2.99 a month. It's almost like, hey, one advice that Andy Elliott told me, it's like when we were talking about coconut and the coconut club, he's like, you're offering me a filet mignon for 49 bucks a month. Like, what are you doing? And sometimes that's how I feel about the 1% club. Like, the value almost devalues it. But my game is that, hey, if you come in at $2.99 and it's a no-brainer for you because you get so much value, again, I only have to impress you once a year for that to make sense for you. But I come up and I show up every single month for you. Then the community and then the events and the network that you get. And then my end goal, just to be clear, like, I want to partner with people. I want to help them roll up and scale and sell. I want to help people go through the exit process that I went through, because even with all the knowledge that I had, I still left money on the table. I don't want to see people do that. And so if I can create this community of 1,000 members who are all at different stages, whether they're at the beginning stages, the middle, or looking to end, and they want to partner with me and I can help them 2 times their business valuation because of what I know, like, I know they'll partner with me. They'll be idiots not to partner with me. And so that's the end game. So I'm always playing the end game. Again, I don't need to do this. I don't need to make the money, but it checks the boxes because there is a huge payout at the end if I do this correctly, if I bring enough value, which holds my feet to the fire. And I get to help people in the midterm instead of just saying, like, no, I don't want to jump on the 15-minute call. So, and it's fun doing it. Like, I'm addicted to work. Like, my wife every day, like, what are you doing? What do you do? It's like, I don't know. Like, it's a drug to me. I have to do it.
I love that, and I hear that a lot actually from entrepreneurs that have exited. That especially on the podcast, they'll tell me, like, that they're still doing something. It doesn't seem like anyone. I mean, you might think you want to sell and retire and travel and all that, but I think that if you have that bug in you and you just building businesses, like, you still have your team. Like you just said it. Like, you still want to be like part of that process, and that's super inspiring to hear from me. I could ask you a million questions, bro, but I want to be respectful of your time. Do you have time for one more?
Yeah.
We'll leave this kind of the last question. How do you use like AI, and how are you implementing like AI into your businesses, and like what do you see that being like how that's going to affect the future of maybe home services?
If you don't, and this sounds cliche, but it's like, if you do not implement AI within the next year, like, you will get left behind, period. I strongly believe that. And I know a lot of people are saying that, but like, I wish I would have done it 6 months earlier than what I'm doing it right now. And so I'm so deep in it right now that I'm actually about to write a check for a company to invest into them because I see the value. And I wish the deal was done that I could make the plug right now. So just stay tuned for the company that I'm bringing out. But we're helping people contact leads in less than 5 seconds. Before the game used to be, hey, contact a lead within less than 5 minutes and you increase your chances of conversion by 50%, right? We're at Coconut, we've already been testing the last 3 months, and we're contacting people within 5 seconds and and we've had some of our best months yet. And we're doing it at an affordable rate. This guy's mastered, who I'm partnering with, he's mastered the real estate side of things with AI. And now I'm introducing him into the home service world, and I'm going to introduce them to our community. My community members are going to get first access to this at a discounted rate. And then obviously we're going to push it out to the masses in the home service industry. But AI is phenomenal, man. There's so many great tools, but also it can be bad. Like, don't frustrate the consumer, right? Don't create this bot that just calls that. We've all been on with AT&T. I was on with AT&T or Southwest yesterday. The first 5 minutes is me trying to get through their stupid AI bot that just frustrates me more than helps me. And so again, don't be quick to just jump on any AI just because, oh, we're using AI, we're good now. It's like, no, always have in mind the customer experience. I'm investing in another company right now I think I can share this, but it's a company that's going to go back to, you know, in all technology, there's the obsolescence of, hey, the shelf life on this thing is 6 months, a year, 2 years. And so everyone we've had this major shift in technology. Now it's going to go back to the old school way. And so I'm investing into this company. Their first product is going to be the toaster that will have a lifetime warranty. Like, it's going back to like just the basics of a toaster and what makes it great, where toasters right now are designed to expire within a year and a half, right? And so again, AI can be used for great, but it can also, you need to also have the idea behind it is like, what's the customer consumer experience? Because that's what's going to get your referrals.
Awesome, Cameron. This has been an insane deep dive, from building teams, scaling, structuring deals, navigating failures, and now shaping the future through the 1% Club. Your journey is a roadmap for entrepreneurs chasing something bigger than themselves. For everyone listening, take these lessons down, break them down, apply them. That's how you join the top 1%. Cameron, thank you for sharing not just the wins, but the blueprint, bro. I took a ton of notes, and follow us subscribe to the channel, Built to Scale, to hear more awesome guests like Cameron. That's how we bring on bigger names and continue to grow our community. Cameron, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, man, nice to meet you. Excited to see you in the community.